This is actually a hand from the VENICE Cup Finals between China and the Netherlands. And when this hand was being played, the commentators had a lot of ideas on which line could be the best. So on this table, we have the Dutch pair sitting in east-west opening multi-2 diamonds and bidding their way to 6 hearts. South led the Queen of Spades, won by Declarer's ace. Declarer then proceeded to draw 2 rounds of trumps, ending in the west hand, and found that hearts broke. Plan your play. Ready? The first line suggested by the commentators was to take the diamond finesse. The second line suggested was to play for either queen small small in diamonds or the king queen of clubs on side. Presumably what they meant is that Declarer cashed the ace and king of diamonds and rough a third diamond. If the queen falls, Declarer makes their contract. Otherwise, Declarer plays a club towards a jack. If North holds the king queen of clubs, then Declarer also makes their contract. The third line suggested was to play a club towards a jack to try for the king queen of clubs on side first, and failing which, Declarer can still resort to the diamond finesse. The fourth line suggested was that if Declarer thinks that the queen of diamonds is offside, Declarer can cash the remaining spade honor and play for a squeeze. I'm assuming what they mean is that you duck a club first, because you obviously can't play a spade first, and if you duck a diamond, the squeeze can be broken by returning a diamond. After that, you win whatever return, cash the king of spades, cash the ace of diamonds, the ace of clubs, like, whichever they didn't return, and rough a club before drawing trumps. On the play of the last trump, West has the 10 of spades and a diamond left, while East has the king of diamonds and the jack of diamonds left. What does South keep? If South pitches down to the singleton queen of diamonds, then your jack of diamonds will be good after playing to the king. If South also keep 2 diamonds, which they weren't, then the 10 of spades is now good. So which of these lines is best, and did we miss any lines? I'll give you a little hint. We definitely did, because Declarer didn't take any of these lines. So there is at least another line that exists out there. I know, right? How many lines can there be? Well, apparently a lot. So let's talk about the first line, the diamond finesse. If the queen of diamonds is on side, we make our contract. But what the commentator didn't mention is that if the diamond finesse loses, not all hope is lost. You might still be able to execute a squeeze. So let's say you lose to the queen of diamonds with South. If South returns a diamond, you make as long as North has the diamond length. You win this, cash the king of spades and another diamond, pitching a club from the west hand, and then run the hearts. When you're done playing the hearts, North can keep up to 2 cards. If North has a diamond length, then North can't pitch a diamond. So North can keep a diamond and a club. If North keeps a diamond, you can pitch a diamond from the east hand, keeping the ace and jack of clubs. What can South keep? If South pitches the jack of spades, your 10 of spades is now good. So South must keep the jack of spades and can have at most a club. So after you play a club towards the ace, your jack of clubs is now good and you make your contract. Now, what if South has the diamond length? We can't squeeze South in diamonds and spades only because if South returns a diamond, then we would lack the entries to the east hand, and so we can't access east diamond threats while using the 10 of spades as a threat in the west hand. We could enter with spades or clubs, but we have to pitch from east before South pitches. So we can only squeeze South when South has a diamond length and when South also has both the club threats. Because now South has everything and simply can't afford to keep them all. Like basically we're not squeezing South in diamonds, we're squeezing South in spades and clubs. So there's a lot of ways Declarer can do this. The simplest way would be just a spade club squeeze where, West is left with the 10 of spades and a club, and East the ace jack of clubs. And if South has both the king queen of clubs as well as the jack of spades, then South can only keep 2 of them. So if South is still keeping the jack of spades, then we just need to play a club towards the ace and drop the other club honor. There's also another way to squeeze South in spades and clubs, which I'll show you later on another layout. If we choose to play South for the diamond length, we also need them to have the king and queen of clubs. So we are better off hoping that North has a diamond length, right? Okay, so let's say South returns a club. If South returns a low club, North would insert a club honor and we have to win this with the ace. We now have a choice of squeezes. If we play North for the diamond length, we can choose between playing North for the other club, in which case we have a club diamond squeeze which is pretty straightforward. Basically, if North doesn't pitch the other club honor, then we just play on diamonds. Alternatively, we can play South for the other club, in which case we aim for a club spade squeeze on South. And this is what I mentioned just now, but how do we squeeze South in spades and clubs when we have to pitch before South? Well, here's how. After winning the club return, we proceed to draw all the trumps except for one. We pitch a diamond and a spade from the east hand and then cross over in diamonds. After cashing the ace and king of diamonds, we have 3 cards left. So what does South keep? South can keep the jack of spades, the other club honor, and another card. If South only kept the lone jack of spades, we can now cash a king of spades and then the 10 will be good. If South only kept the lone club honor, so South kept the jack and another spade and the club honor, then we pitch a club on the king of diamonds, ruff a club, cross over in the spades, and the jack of clubs is now high. That said, well, this is possible. You have to guess what South's hand shape is. You might argue that a South holding, say, the king might have difficulty in returning the suit. So a South would be more likely to return a diamond than like a club from a South having like just the king of clubs without the queen. But if you think about it, that doesn't make sense, because think about it, if Declarer had like ace queen of clubs and ace king jack of diamonds, then surely Declarer would have cashed the ace and king of clubs first and then ruff the diamond instead of playing the diamond finesse first, because once that doesn't work, then it's game over. So if it is equally likely that North or South holds the other spade honor, then Declarer's best play would be to play for North to have both the club honors, because now you don't have to guess anything. Here, there's also restricted choice, because given that we have seen one honor from North, then North is half as likely to hold both honors as compared to just one honor because of this restricted choice. But also, if North only had one honor to begin with, then South might have opted to return a high club instead of a low club. Basically, if South returns a low club, it could be that South didn't have a choice, like South only has low clubs to return. And we will talk about this later, but if South chooses between returning a low and a high club equally, then North is equally likely to hold both club honors or just one club honor only. But here's the thing, because Declarer's best play would be to play for North to have both club honors, because that doesn't require any shape guessing, right? Then when South holds exactly one honor, South should play a low card to bait Declarer into playing for the club diamond squeeze with North, and therefore Declarer will go down. So now South is actually incentivized to return a low club when holding just one honor instead of returning the high club. And how often can Declarer guess South shape? And it's 50%, right? Because South either has an extra spade or an extra club. Or is it? If South has 3 diamonds, and we will know this because South would have to pitch all her diamonds, basically when North has a diamond length and there is a club spade squeeze on South, then we will know how many diamonds South has, because South will have to pitch down to just clubs and spades, so we know exactly how many diamonds South has. Then South's most likely shape is 4-2-3-4. Just trust me on this. Basically the way we can derive this is we give South the queen jack of spades, 2 hearts, 3 diamonds, and the remaining club honor. And apart from the black suit honors, there are 5 spades and 6 clubs remaining. So of this, we can allocate 5 to South. So there are 11 choose 5 ways for the cards to be distributed, which is 462. The number of times South has exactly 4-2-3-4 shape is 5 choose 2 times 6 choose 3, which is 10 times 20, which is 200. Basically, you try to maximize like 5 choose something times 6 choose something, and in this case, it's 5 choose 2 times 6 choose 3, which is 200. So it does seem like actually they guess it slightly less than half. But here's the thing, we can also eliminate certain hand shapes the more cards have been played. So it's not like out of any possible hand shape, minimally 2 spades, 2 hearts, 3 diamonds, and the club, it's out of the remaining possible hand shapes. So, for example, if South has already pitched 4 clubs, then we can eliminate the chance that South started with 4 clubs because we would have seen the honor already. This is assuming that Declarer has decided to play for the club spade squeeze and Declarer just wants to guess the shape. So, if South has shown 2 spades and 3 clubs, or 3 spades and 2 clubs from 4-4, then we'll get it right because 4-4 is more likely than like 5-3 or 3-5, okay? We only get it wrong when South started with 3 spades and 5 clubs, or 5 spades and 3 clubs respectively. If South shows, for example, 2 spades and 3 clubs, then South can either have 3 spades and 5 clubs, or 4 spades and 4 clubs. If South shows 1 spade and 4 clubs, then South either has 3 spades and 5 clubs, or 2 spades and 6 clubs. And then Declarer would have to guess between them holding 2 spades and 6 clubs, or 3 spades and 5 clubs. But here's the thing, if South had started with 3 spades and 5 clubs, and South showed 2 spades and 3 clubs instead of 1 spade and 4 clubs, then Declarer would have guessed it wrong anyway. So South is not incentivized to show 1 spade and 4 clubs. But even if South chooses to show 1 spade and 4 clubs, if you always guess that South has 2 spades and 6 clubs when they show 1 spade and 4 clubs, then it's something that you will have guessed wrong anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. So basically, we always guess that South has 4-4 in the blacks. If that's not possible, we try 2-6 or 6-2 in the blacks. The alternative to 4-4 is 5-3 either way, and that's just less likely than 4-4. So we always get it wrong when South started with 5-3 in the blacks, and we always get it right when South has an even parity. And if we do the math, we'll find that we only get it wrong 225 out of 461 of the time. I'll flash it somewhere. Okay, fine. So it's almost 50%, but for a different reason, right? It's good to check. The reasoning is not because you can only have one of either suit extra. It is because you always guess in the optimal way, and that leads to just above 50%. Now, if South started with double turn diamond, it's gonna be close to 50% as well. I'm not gonna bore you with the math, but you can pause the video here because I'll flash the numbers somewhere. Yep, it is slightly different because 5-4 in the blacks is more likely than 4-5 because we know 2 of the spade honors. But other than that, the concept is pretty similar. If we can't guess 5-4 in the blacks, then we'll try 3-6. Overall, we get 230 out of 456, which is once again just more than half. Okay, so if this probability was 50%, then South can play a low club all the time when holding exactly 1 club honor, and it's equal odds whether to play North or South for the other club honor. Basically, South has the club honor twice as often, but the chance of making is half as much. So South would play a low club almost all the time, because now we know this percentage is a bit over 50%. This way, Declarer only makes very close to 1/3 of the time. And this is like the previous video on the game theory of bridge. Basically, South would play almost all the time, but not all the time, because if South played it all the time, then it will incentivize Declarer to play South for the other honor. So if South plays the low club almost all the time, then the South holding just 1 club honor will be assured that Declarer would choose to play for North to have both honors and therefore go down in a slam. Note that South can't have the diamond length in this case, because this would be a misplay. Because if South had the diamond length, then South should have returned the diamond. Because Declarer now can technically squeeze South in diamonds and spades to make her contract. Whereas if South had returned the diamond, then Declarer is just going down, provided South holds the other club honor. If South returns a high club, we have the same options available as if South had returned a low club. This time though, South might have the diamond length when holding both clubs, because like we mentioned earlier, when South has the diamond length, then Declarer can still make if South holds both clubs. So, South can return anything. But first, before we consider this, let's consider when South doesn't have the diamond length, because that's similar to what we just discussed. So if South almost always returns a low club when holding 1 club honor, like we said just now, then when South returns a high club, most of the time South has both club honors. So all that's left is to guess South's handshake. And if South chooses to return the high club when holding one club honor, which has to happen because South doesn't return the low club all the time, declarer's best play would still be to play for South to have both club honors. So it's fine for South. So how often can declarer guess South's shape? Note that if we are now playing for South to have both club honors, the probability of South having any particular shape is different from when we're only playing South to have one honor. So I'll flash the case for when South has 3 diamonds. And it's the same concept when South has 2 or 1 diamonds. And we'll find that we can guess shape a little over 50% of the time when South holds both club honors and North has a diamond length. The South holding exactly 1 club honor can choose to play her honor here sometimes, as long as it's not often enough to sway declarer to play North for the other honor and thus make the contract. We'll talk about South having the diamond length later. So how often does this line work? Well, it works whenever the Queen of Diamonds is on side. That's 50%. For the rest of the hands, which squeeze we go for depends on a few attributes of the hand. So before we talk about the attributes of the hand, first, it's a given that South has a Jack of Spades, okay? Let's just say it. Then what else matters is who has the diamond length and who has the club honors. That is which squeeze you go for. And whether or not we manage to execute it successfully depends on whether we are able to tell North or South's hand shape. If you know one, you know the other. If the Queen of Diamonds is offside, then South can hold one of the following hands. So the first would be both the King and Queen of Clubs with diamond length. Second is both the King and Queen of Clubs without diamond length, and neither the King or Queen of Clubs with diamond length, neither the King or Queen of Clubs without diamond length, one of the King or Queen of Clubs with diamond length, and one of the King or Queen of Clubs without diamond length. Note that these probabilities are not equal. First of all, each of the having one honor scenarios is actually 2, because South can have the King or South can have the Queen. The second thing is South is actually more likely to have diamond length than North by virtue of South having the Queen. Like if the Queen had to be in one hand, is it more likely to be found in the short hand or the long hand? It is more likely to be found in the long hand because there's more diamonds that can be the Queen. And the number of ways that South can have the diamond length, given that South has the Queen of Diamonds, is the number of ways you can choose 6, 5, 4, and 3, like extra cards from the 6 remaining diamonds, and add it to the Queen. So that would be 1 plus 6 plus 15 plus 20, which is 42 out of 64. If South holds both the King and Queen of Clubs with diamond length, then whatever South returns, declarer can in theory make the contract. But that's it. Declarer still has to decide which layout to play for and won't always make the contract. We will address this later, I promise. I know I've been saying this later, but this is later. If South holds both the King and Queen of Clubs without diamond length, then South has no choice but to return a club honor. If South returns a diamond, then declarer will naturally make a contract because they'll just play for North to have the diamond length, and declarer always makes. So South would do well to return a club honor, and declarer makes the contract when she is able to guess South's shape, which is slightly more than 50% of the time. If South has neither the King or Queen of Clubs and has a diamond length, then South can always return a diamond and declarer will go down. If South holds neither the King or Queen of Clubs without diamond length, then South has no choice but to return a small club, as playing on diamonds automatically gives declarer their contract. But even then, declarer would opt to play for North to hold both club honors, which we established earlier. And no matter what South does, declarer's gonna make their contract. So they might as well like return a diamond or something else instead. Because now we are kind of under the assumption that defender's best play is never to return a diamond if they don't have the diamond length. So when defenders return a diamond, then maybe it's best for declarer to assume that South has a diamond length, in which case declarer would play for the wrong squeeze and go down, right? If South holds one of the king or queen of clubs with diamond length, then South will return a diamond and declarer will go down. If South has one of the club honors and doesn't have the diamond length, then like we discussed just now, South will usually return a low club, but whether South returns a club honor or low club, declarer's best play is to play for South to have either both honors or none of the honors and will always go down anyway. So now back to South holding the diamond length and both club honors. South can choose between returning a diamond and a high club. If South returns a diamond, there is no guess for declarer, whereas if South returns a club, declarer would have to guess the hand shapes in order to make the contract. Note that if South returns a diamond, then declarer takes the same line whether playing South for this particular hand shape or playing North to have the diamond length, which is basically the only other way declarer can make her contract. Basically, West keeps the 10 of spades and a club, while East keeps the ace jack of clubs. On the play of the last trump, if North hasn't already pitched the diamond, then declarer pitches the 4th diamond from East. If South has the diamond length, South may pitch a diamond, but can only have one stiff club on the left, like the other would already have been pitched by this time. Otherwise, the 4th diamond in the East hand would be good. So South would return a high club, and it will look no different from North having the diamond length, and declarer would make about 50% of the time. So overall, declarer would make in half plus one of the 8 cases. Now, the likelihood of each of these cases are most definitely not equal. We could do the math, or we could just approximate it as 1/4 of the remainder, and declarer makes about 62.5% of the time in total. Okay, so that was pretty complex, I know. I hope you're still here. The second line works whenever the queen of diamonds falls in less than 3 rounds. There are 128 ways to distribute the remaining diamonds, and the queen falls when you have queen small on either side. So that's 2 times 1 plus 6 choose 1 plus 6 choose 2, which is a total of 44 out of 128 ways. When that fails, you play a club to the jack, and you make whenever both the king and queen of clubs are with North, which is 25% of the time, or when North has a singleton king or queen, 2 cases out of 256. So overall, you make 66 out of 1/3 of the time, which is barely more than half. The third line works whenever the king and queen of clubs are on side, so that's 25%, and failing which, we still make half the time when North has a queen of diamonds. So this gives us a total of 62.5% of the time. Also, some off chances like, singleton queen of diamonds with South, because you can cash 1 diamond first, or like South having no diamonds, in which case you can safely finesse the second diamond. But yeah, it's about 62.5%. The fourth line works whenever South has the queen of diamonds, or North has queen doubleton diamond, or someone has singleton queen of diamonds, or South started queen jack slip of spades, which isn't much more than 50% of the time. So what happened at the table was declarer played the 10 of clubs out. When North failed to cover, declarer instantly made her contract as South was now end played. But why did declarer play the 10 of clubs out? Okay, so first of all, here in this case, North should have covered. And here, in my mind, I was thinking that it's more probable that the club honors are split than not. So maybe declarer was thinking about end playing South. You see, if South has the other club honor, then South could get end play at the end. And intuitively, I thought this was the best line. So if North doesn't cover, we make immediately as South is now end played. So we always make when South holds both the king and queen of clubs. If North covers, our best strategy is to win with the ace and then play for split honor. So what we do is cash the ace and king of diamonds and then ruff a diamond. If the queen drops, we instantly make If the queen doesn't fall, then we cross over in hearts to play another diamond out. If the queen is with south, then we pitch a club in the west hand. And if the club honors were split to begin with, then we make our contract because now south is end played. Like if south returns a low club, we let it run to the jack. If south plays the king, we rough it and our hand's good. And south can't return spade. And south, there's just no other diamond. If south started with exactly 4 card diamond, which you'll know by that point, right? If the queen is with north or south has more than 4 diamonds to the queen, we rough the 4th diamond. And then we run the hearts. After running the last heart, we have the 10-9 of spades in the club in west, and the king small of spade and the jack of clubs with east. What does south keep? If south keeps the club honor and 2 spades, we can exit the club and then play south. If south keeps just the jack of spades and 2 clubs, then we can cash the king of spades and then the 10 of spades is now good. But like the squeezers, we do have to guess how many spades and clubs south started with. And this we established just now, we can get right a little over 50% of the time. So how often does this line make? If south started with both the king and queen of clubs, which is 25% of the time, we always make our contract. When club honors are split, which is total is 50% of the cases, we always make when the queen of diamonds is dropping, which is 44 out of 128 cases, like we calculated just now. And also when south gets end played, because south started with queen 4 card diamonds, for which there's 20 cases, and then when neither of that happens, then we make half the remainder of the times when we can guess south's club and spade count. And then on top of that, when the king and queen of clubs are with north, we still make when the queen of diamonds drop. So all in all, we make about 71.1% of the time. But did we miss something? Remember line 3? The commentators suggested to play a club towards the jack and another club up. But as you can see, like we just discussed just now, if we play the 10 of clubs out instead of a small club towards the jack, we can catch both the king and queen onside as well as the king and queen offside, instead of just the king and queen onside. So if we couple this with diamond finesse, the king and queen are onside or offside, like both, half the time. And then the diamond finesse works half the time. So in total, we make 75% of the time. And this is more than any other line we discussed. We can also apply the same thing to line 4, which ends up making about 25% of time plus a little over half the remainder. So total is 62.5%. It's out of the running, whatever. So isn't it shocking that the best line is actually the simplest? Like you just take your finesses. Yeah. But there's also something we haven't addressed. What if you think that defenders are very honest count signalers, and that would actually increase the chances of a squeeze working? Or maybe you don't signal that honestly, but you feel like you have a lot of table feel and you can read whether they're like bearing the club or the spade, or like who has the diamond length. Well, for the first line, you always go down when south has the diamond length unless south has everything, which unfortunately happens much more often than north having diamond length. So even if you can guess the shape, we haven't even talked about guessing who has the club honors. It's kind of just not it. It's not 75%. There's also no guess for the second, third, or fourth line, so that's not going to be better than just taking all your finesses. For the fifth line though, there's no guess for the shape at the end, so we make 75% of the time, as long as it's not king queen onside. And we also make the 44 out of 128 of the time when north has both the king and queen of clubs and the queen of diamonds drops. And this gives us a total of 83.6%, which is better than the simple line. So actually, which line you play for does depend on like whether you think opponents are signaling honestly or how you rate your table feel, which unfortunately I am not good at. But yeah, whatever your ability to read opponent's hand shape, the best line still starts off with the 10 of clubs, which is exactly what this declarer did. Which line she was going for, we'll never know, but it most definitely was right, and that's why she's the world champion. Hope you enjoyed this video and see you next time.